Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make samples similar to Frank Dukes for J. Cole. For those that don't know, J. Cole just dropped a new album called The Off Season last Friday. A lot of good songs on there, but one of the most popular songs on the album so far has a Frank Dukes sample, so figured I would go through and break down the sample that I made recently that kind of captures the vibe of J. Cole and Frank Dukes in one. This sample is a part of a sample pack that I just recently dropped called Spirit Volume 2. The pack has 20 samples. They're like R&B-ish samples, all melodic, all in the style of like J. Cole, Drake, Bryson Tiller, all got that kind of vibe. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to go through and break down the sample from that pack. I'll leave a link down in the description for that if you're interested. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's get right into it. Alright, so I got the final sample pulled up here. We're sitting at 133 BPM, and the final sample is in G sharp minor. I'll go ahead and play it so you can hear how it sounds, but just in general, it's definitely got a J. Cole vibe, almost R&B-ish. A lot of effects, and it almost sounds like an old sample, like you sampled it from a vinyl record or something like that. So yeah, as you can hear, it sounds very vinyl-y, very old. There's a lot of effects on all the sounds. Definitely got J. Cole vibes. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just break down every sound that I used to make this sample. Alright, so the first thing that I did is I pulled up Contact, and I pulled up this Scarby Vintage Keys Contact Bank, and I pulled up this preset right here. I laid down this chord progression where it's basically the same thing repeated, but the last chord I dropped it down just for some variation. It's got some soul to it, you know what I mean? But anyway, I knew I wanted to add more effects to it, so what I did is I added an EQ to take out a lot of the harsh frequencies, and then I added Kramer tape for some wobble, tremolator to make it go like in and out, make the sound go in and out. I added Echo Boy for some delay, and then this EQ is doing literally nothing, so that's it. But yeah, I'll go ahead and play how it sounds with the effects on it. It sounds a lot cleaner with the harsh frequencies out. And then the next thing that I did is I took that, I do this a lot, but I just pitched it up by hitting Control up, and then I hit Alt Y to flip it. And then I go here and I render it as an audio clip. And when you come in here, you make sure you put cut remainder on so that when you reverse it, you don't have like a tail end that kind of messes with it. So make sure cut remainder is on, and then you render it as an audio clip. Then I make sure to put this back, Alt Y, put that back. And then I render it as an audio clip like this. And then I reverse it, put it to a different mixer channel, EQ a lot of the lows out, add some of this preset from Valhalla Ubermod, add a lot of reverb, actually not too much, but add a little bit of reverb. And so this is what it sounds like. And so I just added that for the second part of the sample. The piano chord progression drops out, and then the reversed pitched up progression comes in just for something different to change up the sample and add some more variation. The next thing that I did once I had the piano is I added a vocal, and I used a one-shot pack of like a vocal one-shot pack to lay down a few in a row to create a pattern. I forgot which pack it was, but I think I added 3 different one-shots together and I made this one pattern here that just repeats throughout the sample, and I rendered it out as an audio clip. But before I rendered it out, I had it linked to this channel, and I added an EQ to take out a lot of the lows and some of the highs, and then I added Little Alter Boy. And what this plugin does is you can kind of control, you can keep the sound in the same key that you're in, but you can control how low or high it sounds. So basically I kept it in the same key because I didn't want to change the key, I wanted to fit the sample, but I put the format knob down, which makes it sound lower. Like, it makes it sound like it's lower, like a lower octave, but it's the same key. And then I added some delay with Echo Boy, some reverb, Pan Man to make it go back and forth. And I added a filter to take out a lot of the highs and a lot of the lows. Took out some harsh frequencies with another EQ. And so once I did that, I rendered it as an audio clip, and then I put it to another mixer channel, and I added even more Pan Man to make it go back and forth even more. Added an EQ to boost some of the high mids and get rid of some of the low mids. So with all that going on, it sounds like this. Yeah, that's it for the vocals. Alright, so the next thing that I did is I pulled up a piano. I pulled up just a basic piano from the wire, and I added this piano to the sample, but it doesn't really play throughout the sample. It just plays towards the end of every 8 bars. And I just wanted to add it as like a little run at the end to just, I don't know, spice up the sample, and I think it sounded pretty good. So I came up with this pattern right here where it just kind of drops down and then goes back up at the last note. For the effects, I took out almost all of the sound and then just boosted the high end, and then I added RC20 for wobble, Echo Boy for some delay, reverb, and then tremolator. And so with all the effects, it sounds like this. And I kind of just wanted that in the background to add some, just something different for the sample. Alright, so the next thing that I did is I added a bunch of effects and textures to make it sound more like a vintage sample, and this is what I think helps make this sample stand out and sound more like a J. Cole or a Frank Duke sample. For the first one, I have this sound right here, right at the beginning of every 8 bars. It's like a bell that you would hear in like R&B songs or like old school samples. And then I have this drum break right here, and that's just kind of playing in the background. Without effects, it's way too upfront. But what I did is I added some distortion to it. I added an EQ to take out almost all the frequencies except for the mids, and then added a lot of reverb, and then a filter to take out some more of the highs and the lows. And then I also added this vinyl texture that, again, is hard to hear. It's definitely in the background, but it just kind of sets the vibe for the sample, whether you consciously hear it or not. When you play the sample, it's gonna make you, your brain is gonna recognize it, and it's gonna make the sample sound a lot more unique. Alright, so the last thing that I did for this sample was I added a bass, and I just added this pluck bass right here. It's just a one shot. Just sounds like that. And I laid down this pattern right here. Don't think I have any effects on it. I do. Okay, so I EQ'd out a lot of the highs and some of the lows, and then I added some distortion to it with Decapitator, and I laid down this pattern right here, just following the root note of the sample. Yeah, pretty simple. It just follows the root note of the chord progression, like I said, and it fit better than a normal bass, so I decided to go with that kind of plucky bass. Yeah, that's pretty much it for all these sounds. Once I had everything that I wanted to have in the sample, I just structured it out. So I have the first part where the keys are playing with the vocals, and then the vocals drop out and it's just the keys with everything else. And then for the second half of the sample, the keys drop out, and then the reversed pitched up keys come in without vocals, and then the vocals come in at the end, and then that's it. And then as always, I put all the sounds at the end for stems so whoever's using the sample can manipulate it however they want. And then once I had it structured out like that, I just rendered it out as an audio file, brought it back in, and I didn't end up pitching it at all, so I just left it at G sharp minor, but I did put it to a different mixer track and take more of the harsh frequencies out. And then for the master, I just added some fresh air to boost the highs and the high mids, a compressor, and then boosted the volume with Maximus. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that sample. That's how I would approach making a sample like Frank Dukes for J. Cole, or making a sample similar to some of the samples that are on J. Cole's new album, The Off Season. Like I said, this sample is heavily reliant on the effects, all of the different plugins like Kramer Tape or RC20 to add the wobble, Echo Boy to add delay and different reverbs and stuff like that, just to make the sample sound more vintage and old. Like I said, this sample is from the sample pack Spirit Volume 2 that I just dropped with 20 samples, similar style to this one. I'll leave a link down in the description if you're interested in that. Hopefully you learned something. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.